Hello and welcome to the very first episode of The Founders Ark, the new Lost Ark podcast with Beaver and I, who will talk about everything Lost Ark, talk about our whole feeling about the games, talking about news, patch notes, things which are happening around the game. And this is our very first episode, and I say hello Beaver, good evening.
Hi.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I have a bit of an addiction problem, but I'm doing good. Doing good. Yeah.
Wait, addiction? Don't tell me you were addicted to this new awesome action RPG MMO called Lost Ark? Have you
Oh,
heard of it?
I can't put it down.
It's kind of bad for some people. It's so fascinating to see this also in other streams, right? Where people who normally don't give a damn about MMOs or even action RPGs is normally not their thing, they're completely addicted to it. It's an obsession. Did you play any action RPGs or something before that? What was your action RPG? Your go-to action RPG?
So, outside of any other I mean, really, Diablo was probably my only other source. To be honest with you, never really got into any other top-down style games.
Yeah, I mean Diablo is, I think, the bread and butter of action RPGs, right? You could argue.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
Like
so
yeah, that's I don't know. It's just weird for me because a lot of people are talking about all these other ones, and I've just I've never heard of them, and I'm just back here Diablo. It's the only one I really played.
did you? Okay, I have to ask this because Diablo is always an interesting thing. Did you start with Diablo 3?
So I would say I hardlined it at 3. I did when I was younger dabble into, but it was at the point where I was okay, I understand what I'm doing, but not really because I'm still young when it comes to the game. So I was getting through the story and stuff, but was I mid-maxing? Was I doing ever the actual grind and finding all the hidden stuff? Not really back then.
Or
Um, but in 3, that's when I was trying to do that type of stuff, if that makes sense.
Hey, that's great. Even though I am was not the biggest fan of 3 on so many levels, but this is not the Diablo podcast. This is a Lost Ark podcast. Okay, then now that we have the action RPG, what is your last MMO you really played? You put time into.
Well, it would have to be. I would have to say Final Fantasy. I was playing that recently up until this came out, and I actually did cancel my subscription because I don't see myself going back to play Final Fantasy at least within this month because of me playing this.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was Final Fantasy, World of Warcraft, and up when New World released New World, but that was quickly diminished.
Yeah, you know what's sad? That talking about New World, it seems like they took their server capacities from New World into Lost Ark, or their server knowledge. Let's put it that way.
Agreed.
But we will talk about that in just a minute. But yeah, you are absolutely obsessed. What is your main char in Lost Ark right now? I know it's very fluent for a lot of people.
So right now, I'm sorceress with a sorry, brain fart.
I mean, sorceress is a class, yes.
Yeah, sorry. What was the question? I apologize.
I
Oh
mean,
my
what's your
gosh.
main class right now? I mean,
Yeah.
you answered it basically.
Yeah. So sorceress is my main class, and I do have I did recently just boost up my oh my god, what was it called? A berserker, and I'm
Ah,
actually really enjoying the berserker.
it's so fascinating. even for people who love it, like I know a lot of people who always said like, oh, Berserker, oh, the sword is too big, I don't know if I will like this, nah, I don't really want to, and then they're just ending up in playing Berserker all day because they absolutely love that dude.
It's you just go in and annihilate things, and you also scare the crap out of people when you're like, yeah, I'm gonna use my my alt here, and then you're just like no health because that's just how it's set up.
Oh my god, yeah, like
That's what mayhem, I think it's what's called, or something like
I
that.
think yeah, it's mayhem. The engraving is mayhem. I have seen it with a lot of new players who sometimes panic chatting and they're like, dude, heal, heal. You are still low, dude, heal. Like I see it even in streams. I think what's his name, Asmongold. He had mayhem on, and his chat was just full of people like, dude, heal. You should really heal before the next boss. What are you doing? Where's the healing? And it's like, oh my god, people. Oh my god. Speaking of hilarious class things which can happen. So I did a Guardian raid 2 days ago, and I had my first why do you not tank right guy screaming at me because I'm playing a gun lancer, and I literally had the DPS screaming at me why I'm so shitty not holding the aggro. Right? Like, what am I doing? I'm such
you tell them to bring taunt dummies.
Like he was literally yelling at me, I'm the shittiest tank he has ever seen in an MMO, and I'm a disgrace, and I cannot keep the aggro. And it's like, dude, you can be grateful that I can actually spot an enemy like every 15 seconds. Like, come on, man. It was, I heard about those people, that they exist, but I have never seen one, and that was the first time, and I was like, yes.
I haven't run into a single asshole yet. Apologies.
I think it's because Europe is a bunch of tryhards, and also like we hate each other with a passion, right? Like every European is like assuming that the person is not like their native language is not English, right? And it's, everyone is just like, oh, probably a Frenchman. Oh shit, is that a German? Oh, that's a German, isn't it? He sounds German in the chat. Like everyone is just disgusted from like against each other. It's fantastic. We love it here. But I have to admit, I think that was, now that you mention it, the only person really where I had this. Like I always had people who would support each other.
It's been like I was actually telling someone in my community, the chat experience, like it's been genuinely pretty good. Area chat gets a little dicey every once in a while, but like like in the parties and the raids, like people have just been making witty comments. Like the one dungeon we were in, we were having a blast it out, and like what was the island? We were on an island where we literally had to keep mining an egg. We failed the island, by the way, and it pissed me off.
By the
20
island.
minutes of hitting an eye, yeah, hitting that freaking egg. We didn't finish it, but we were in a full group too. Like we got the egg down, we just didn't kill the boss in time because we took too long mining. But anyway, everyone's there cracking whips, and I'm the first one's like, this is still better than WoW.
I mean, you were right. I did actually. Funny that you mentioned it because I wanted to bring it up as an example. I did Spitter. It's not really spider. It's Spitter with an A,
yep.
And it's like, so I did that twice yesterday because I hate myself, and we were just sitting there and chatting. Like it was just mindless chatting. So how was your Saturday? Well, sitting on an island with a few hundred other idiots, mining an egg. It goes, Standard Saturday. But it's great. It's great, I think. Like, I love the island events. They're very fun. It's sometimes... How many island events have you done so far?
So
Guessing.
yesterday I did a whole day of farming the events. My goal was to just do as much as I could. Let me do a quick check here on my collectibles. I'm still only at 5 island tokens. Like I was farming the ones that the ones that you have to get from drops or randomly from the event. Like that's what I was looking to do. And man, it some of these are gonna take some time. Like for sure.
I Spider Island twice, not a single island token. Yay. That was not something I wanted to repeat, but apparently I have to. What do you think about the islands so far?
I'm really enjoying them. Don't get me wrong, there are some that are grindy as hell, and there are some that are just plain out like stupid. Like when you think about it, it's like, wow, this is really like on a scale. It's like, wow, they could have done more. But when you think about it, there's so much that they've released. Like you think all these islands are their own separate side stories and their own separate things outside of the main story already. Like there's just so much extra to explore, and I feel like we're just scratching the surface because I don't know what they've done in Korea over the years because I'm not spoiling myself. I didn't really go too far into it. I think that's the other thing too is like you're more of that experience because you've played on the Russia and the Russia servers and stuff, and I'm looking at this as that new fresh look, and then overall it's just I don't know. I've just been blown away with all the different things that this has. Like when I look at an MMO and what I want from something is I don't want to feel like I have to do the same grind every day. Like I was said today in chat, like I got on, I did my chaos dungeons and I did my raids. I didn't do any of that yesterday. I didn't feel like I had to do any of that yesterday. I did island hopping yesterday. I started doing like some of the things I've been kind of neglecting. Like that's what I like about MMO is like I can feel like I can play the game every day, but feel like I'm doing something totally different and not burn myself out on doing the same grind in and out.
Yeah, I think it does that really well. Like the thing is, a lot of people are looking right now at item progression and at the item level, right? Like that's the thing they're focusing on, and I think people will slowly realize that item level is not the only thing which actually gives you power, and that there are so many more ways to actually increase the strength of your character. And I think this is something really good because, as you said, it gives you a lot of diversity in what you can do. But it also is a bit tricky for new players to actually acknowledge that and to understand that, oh, so if I'm doing this, I will get stronger, but my item level is not going up, right?
Well, and that's... And sorry to interrupt. I think that's the thing that a lot of people are starting to realize, like... So I think at first, and even when I started at first, you know, it is that kind of that chase of like the item level because we are like programmed for that mid max, right? And even like right now, I have a guide up that's showing how to get all the resources that I can for tier 1 to get myself through tier 1. And for me, it's not to mid max; it's just to make sure I hit those islands at this point because I've been bouncing all over the place. I just want to make sure I hit all the islands that I should have. But you know, we have been programmed that we need to min-max, we need to burn through the content as fast as possible. But at the end of the day, even the director was like, no, slow down, enjoy it. And one thing I gotta commend the game with is literally how they're doing that within the story. Like you finish the first part of the story, it's like, okay, you need to go hit 460, we'll see you soon. You go hit 460, now you're back at it again, back in the story, finding new content and stuff like that, and then you're done with that part of the story, and you're back at it again with that gear grind, going through all that stuff and discovering new things again. I think they do a great job with trying to force you to slow down a little bit and say, hey, look, you know, it's not about pushing as fast as you can to get to that end game.
Yeah, I think so too. Like, I know that a buddy of mine is actually like trying to well, not necessarily min-max, but he's definitely pushing a little bit through the content. And that's cool. Like, everyone plays in their own pace, right? Personally, I just don't want to, because I know where the content ends, right? And I just want to take my time. And yeah, that's what I'm doing. I just take my time, like, no
Yeah,
rush. I'm planning on playing
absolutely.
this game for a long time, so I don't have to be done with it in 3 months, really.
Exactly. And I'm the same way. Like the only thing that I would say I've quote unquote rushed is going through the story. Like I
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
necessarily watch every cutscene and read every piece, right? Like I can kind of get the gist of what's going on through that part of it while I'm questing.
Oh, yeah,
Other than
totally.
that, you know, I'm still going through trying to find the seeds. Like I'm just enjoying my time. I don't want to burn myself out because like one of my biggest criticisms, and I mentioned this because someone made a comment about, the story may not be the greatest. So it's perfectly understandable. The game gives you so much to do outside of just focusing the story,
Yep.
right? And that's the great thing about it. When I played Final Fantasy 14, it was like, okay, you need to basically do this story, this story, this story, and this story, and then you get to have fun and do a lot of the end game stuff. I enjoy, and that stories and all that stuff was completely solo. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
It's like, weirdly enough, as somebody who has been playing Final Fantasy 14 now for so many years, I always see it as a story game, a single player story game experience for me. I'm not really in for it for the multiplayer mechanics, for the MMO mechanics, which is kind of odd, to say the
And don't get
least.
me wrong, they have great dungeons. They have like all that stuff is fantastic in Final Fantasy, and that's one reason I loved it. And the reason I am not fully in love with it is exactly what you said. It is more of a single story, a single player story game that you're doing, and then all the extra stuff is just added on online multiplayer, in my opinion, like the MMO part of it. This is just so much more like this. It's like, okay, we're going to an island event that it's spawning a random island. Look, there's 20 boats around. Like it just hits differently. Like this, you can feel the massive multiplayer online aspect of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, absolutely. I'm totally with you on that. Absolutely. It's fantastic. Um, but I would say we are talking a little bit about what happened in the last 2 weeks. If people have missed it, we are now in the, well, technically first week of Lost Ark release. 1.5 weeks for all the people who had pre-ordered the game. And man, pre-order time or early access was going pretty swell, I would say. Like, no matter where you were, that that was great. Great
They
experience. A few queues here and there, but nothing crazy. Was good. And then the release came. And then I aged by 20 years. That's how long I waited in the queues. Or at least when you were in Europe. So you were playing in US East Coast, right? How,
correct, yes.
how was your experience there?
So you're talking about you're talking about the head start and then release.
Just release
um
itself. Like, how was it in the
if
last 1.5 weeks for you?
So overall, like pre-release was the only time I had a queue. Tuesday when it started, it was a 6K queue. At one point when I tried to get in, it took like 2 hours to get in. I was good, whatever. Every day after that, there has been no queue. Even the day of release, they had Regulus locked for character creation, and everyone on the server was like, big question marks, WTF, like why? Because there's no queues. People can get in right now. Let people create. So that's what they did. They started rolling and letting them create. It like the East Coast side for the US has been honestly pretty good. I know there has been like some servers that have been pretty bogged down in terms of queues, but it hasn't been too bad.
Yeah. So that is, of course, the complete opposite to what happened in Europe. The moment when the release hit, Europe basically got crushed. And it's still bad, so they finally opened another region like they did with the US, where you have two regions, East and West, and now we have Central and West over here, right? And probably a little bit too late, because after over a week, like, people have been set down on a server. They want to play with friends, they want to play with a guild, and not a lot of people will immediately move over to the Western servers, right? But man, it is, you know, I I don't really like come around but blame Amazon on this quite a bit, because I have been seeing this so often in games or online games when it comes to Europe. Yeah, like, Europe always seems to be like the second fiddle for a lot of like US based companies, and they completely underestimate how many millions of people are living on this country. Country. Well, yeah, it's a country, kind of. It's a lot of countries.
In America, we count it as one country, so
I mean, Europe, the country, sure. The continent, similar, but I mean, it's kind of right. Kind of. But yeah, it's always like fascinating to see how European players are getting completely underestimated, how many people are actually there, and it happened too often. Like, it's really annoying at this point. And I think they did the same mistake with Lost Ark. Like,
I can agree with that. Like, just seeing from the pressures that you're dealing with, and even your own community members, like, it's crazy. Like, yeah, the new region's up for you guys, but did that really alleviate anything other than help you guys with queues?
it doesn't even help with queues. No, it doesn't.
It doesn't do anything else.
It doesn't really did make the queues go down. Like, I'm still hovering around the 10,000, which we always hovered around. But the biggest problem we have, it's not even the queues anymore.
It's the instances, right?
Yeah, it's the overarching network system, which is just collapsing. Like, even if you were in the game, you basically cannot do anything which is instant anymore. Like, it's like yesterday, me and a buddy of mine wanted to do some Guardian raids, some Chaos dungeons, the standard thing. 2 hours. We couldn't do a single thing in 2 hours, because we always got errors. We always got, like, somebody couldn't quickly enough, like, accept the invite, which of course is bullshit. And it's just, man, this is actually the worst. When you play the game, you were in the game, but you cannot really play it because everything is just clogged up. It's annoying. And again, like, switching the region, keep also in mind, and this is, I think, another problem. When you switch your region, you take nothing with you, right? Like, zero.
Yep.
And that also means if you have already spent money on that server, poof, gone. You don't get that again. It stays on that server. So why would you switch?
That and it's totally understandable. And this is where I think they tried to make amends with it. I mean, that's why they did grant, right, the second founders packs for all the founders, at least, to give them a reason. Look, you may have already redeemed this, but we want to be, hey, like, if you are willing to go, here's another one that you can redeem on your other characters, right?
So there
is.
Yeah, sorry. Cool.
No, I mean, there is that. But I get it. I mean, again, would I, at this point in the game, 130 hours in, would I be willing to re-roll to a new region? It would be a really tough bite. But if it was to get me and a bunch of people to play together, I may take it. But again, at this point, it's pulling me from a lot of people I'm already playing with, right? That's the big draw for me.
I have lots of people of my community. Like another streamer has basically just started with his community on my server, and we want to play together whenever it's possible. And it's just like I cannot tell around 30 people now, hey folks, we are moving to West.
Exactly.
Like they would just send me off. They would be like, yeah, what? Yeah, you can go yourself. Like I'm not going there. Like this already took me too much time, right? As
Exactly.
it's unfortunate. Speaking of unfortunate, this brings us more or less to a quick news, which basically links to the topic we are on. The official Lost Ark Twitter has been tweeting that we were performing maintenance on the Europe Central servers today at 12 a.m. Central European time, and expect the maintenance to last approximately 2 hours. And I'm like, really? Like, I mean, it's Sunday, I get it, but like 12
Yeah,
a.m. is still like occupied, to put it that way. The servers.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can't say that that's not prime time for like any server, because like in the US East that I was playing at 1 a.m. and I felt the servers were getting laggy at that point for us. Like,
Yeah, like the game is still in the point where 12 a.m., no matter which server and time zone you are, like that is still like people playing, a lot of people playing. And it's not only that, we also had a lot of like maintenance in like, oh yeah, we are now doing maintenance starting at 11 a.m. till like 2 p.m. I was like, what? Like, don't get me wrong, me personally, I don't care because my schedule is completely different in everything. But I know that 80% of all the Europeans, like 11 to 2 p.m., 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., like that is like a lot of people want to play. It's crazy. Like again, they had the same problems with New World, where they just did maintenance whenever it would fit in their Pacific time schedule, and they wouldn't really give a damn about European servers. And it's like, stop doing that, please. But yeah, so that is now gone for 2 hours, and which is kind of funny because I actually planned after this podcast to record some videos for Lost Ark, but I think I can forget about that. It's like, it's really unfortunate. I think this is the biggest problem right now, and we will see where that goes. But another thing, and this leads me also to another question. Before Lost Ark got released, did you expect the amount of people playing the game as they did?
I thought people were gonna underestimate it until they truly got to see how it opened up. Even I was kind of going in like I enjoyed what I saw in the beta, but I tried to really not spoil myself. I didn't get very far in the beta. I didn't want to. Again, I watched a little bit and I buy into excitement very easily, folks.
The hype, believe in the
But
hype.
To be fair, I did have the Founders Pack pre-ordered for this way back, like when I could, almost on Amazon, and like I think once people started really seeing it and seeing the streams and started seeing the buzz, I started noticing myself that this is gonna be bigger than I think they expected. And I know I was rooting for launch day. I was like, I know, what was it? First day we broke over 900,000 or something like that. I'm like, I know launch day we are going to most likely overthrow some games. And on actual launch day, it broke 1.4. And outside of like, some of the hiccups, they did get, like, compared to like New World launch with that many people, it was way more smooth than that.
That's true. That's true. But it's crazy. Like Lost Ark broke the all-time peak on Steam, is now number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's only one game which is bigger still of all time, and that is PUBG with 3.2 million players, which was absolute crazy. But we are now number 2. Like Lost Ark dethroned Counter-Strike, Dota 2, Cyberpunk, New World, and Valheim. Like, that's crazy still.
It blows my mind. It really does. And you guys got like the biggest thing is it's free to play. Like,
yeah. And I like, here's the thing though. Like, I know free to play is definitely an important selling point because, well, you don't have to sell it, right? But that's one thing. If you cannot keep the people, then even the best free to play model will not save you if the game is not compelling, right? But yeah, we are now like a week in, and we are still like, even today we had 1.1 million players. So that means in a week we have like lost 200,000 players, which is nothing. Like,
yeah.
It's just release fatigue, right? Like, people tried it out, they have never played it before, they have heard about it because everyone is talking about it, and then we were just like, not my game, right? Well, that's cool, that's fine. But this is, I didn't expect it to get that high. Have you seen the interview they had with the producer or director?
Yeah, I was gonna say not the most recent one. The last one was before the launch, honestly.
Yeah, the one they had before a day, like in a live stream.
Yeah, it was like he was only estimating like
200,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say like a couple 100,000. Yeah.
Yeah, like he said, like he would be really amazed if they would reach 200,000 concurrent. Like, that is like the crazy number they estimated. And now they're by over 1 million steady for like over a week. It's, it must be crazy at that point. Like,
it makes you wonder, like one, there's a lot of free to play people out there for sure. But remember, there's a number there that I said that was playing beforehand, which was over 900,000 people that bought in at least $15. At least.
yeah.
Right?
Like, we
think about all that extra money for them now for development and things like that, because we don't have all the content yet either. We're being phased into everything. Like,
yeah. I mean, we're actually not that far away as a lot of people have thought. Like, we are literally just missing the last half of the Korean content. Like, half of tier 3.
mm-hmm.
So it's actually not that much we are missing content-wise. It's kind of crazy. And they said that the Legion raids, what is it? It's not Abyss, it's the, what do they call them? Legion Commander raids. Let's just call them, they have a specific name. I always forget what it is, but it's just the Legion Commander. Everybody knows who that is. And they're apparently coming in the next 1 or 2 months, the first Legion Commander raids. And that is like the highest thing you can play in Korea. Like, we are actually quite close. Not classes wise. Question. Haha, classes. Now that we talked a little bit about what you're playing right now, have you taken a look at the classes which are still missing?
So again, not really, because I'm not entirely spoiled. Now, I will say, like, when we say missing, there was definitely a class that I got to play in beta. that I was looking forward to here, which is why I'm playing a sorceress versus
the summoner.
the summoner. Yeah. So that, like I said, I didn't spoil myself when it came to other releases or, for example, the other classes or anything. So when it comes to knowing what other ones were out for other regions, unfortunately, I don't know. However, when it comes to, like, I played a little bit of the summoner, I enjoyed what the summoner had. It's like I am definitely excited to see what that's going to be like coming up for sure.
Did you like when you heard that they switched out the summoner? Like, were you disappointed, or was it more like whatever?
I wasn't really disappointed because then I'll tell you why. Because again, I didn't spoil myself. I've got to read this multiple times. I played a bit of the summoner, and I honestly didn't realize what I played. I forgot what I played during the beta because I played literally about 3 or 4 hours. Played that character for about 2 hours, and I switched over to the one. I knew the one character I absolutely hated, and the main reason I didn't figure out what I couldn't remember what I was playing is because during the beta it was just Bard and Summoner, and that's what everyone thought it was launching with. I knew I wasn't playing the Bard. But it was Artillerist, couldn't stand it. I was like, I'm never touching that thing again. So yeah, when I did find out that wasn't there, I was like, well, I'll give Sorceress a shot. I mean, I like casters, and I rolled with it. I do enjoy it. But will it be my main forever? I'm thinking once I hit 600, I'm going to see about getting my Berserker up to 600, and I could switch at that point, to be honest.
Yeah. It's I have to admit, I can see why they switched out the summoner for the sorceress, because they wanted to go for the Western classes, right? Like everything which is more westernized. I have to admit though, I still found it a bit weird because the summoner would still like fit somewhat in the Western thingy. Like, I unfortunately have to admit that I'm waiting for a good chunk of the not released classes yet. And I was actually kind of disappointed to see that they took away some release classes. So some of the classes which are still missing were basically day one classes in all the other regions. Right? And it's really unfortunate. But then again, I can also understand that. So apparently, they're working on big reworks on those classes because they feel like they are not necessarily fitting the playstyle nowadays anymore, and they want to change them quite a bit. Yeah, they have done something like that with the, oh god, I always say Hawkeye. What is the English? Sharpshooter?
Sharpshooter, yeah. I was gonna say Hawkeye sounds like sharpshooter.
Yeah. It's the sharpshooter here, and they had like a huge rework of the sharpshooter last year in March, one of the 2 months, because before they reworked, the sharpshooter was abysmal in everything. Like nobody wanted a sharpshooter, which is like, oh. And so apparently they are still thinking about doing reworks to the other classes, and yeah, we will see how that goes. So
I mean, I can absolutely understand that because I know, like, I could see, especially bringing on new players, and if they're looking at re-envisioning how those characters are played, right? I can see bringing new players on, them leveling through it, and all of a sudden, hey guys, by the way, we're gonna change exactly how this character plays. You're screwed. Hopefully you like it. If you don't like it, you're now gonna change your main to a different character. Which, of course, by the way, I do have a huge caveat. That can happen in any MMO because let's be honest, they do patches and balancing at all times. Everyone's like, well, this is top tier. Don't fucking listen to that because it's gonna be top tier today. Tomorrow, it's not going to be. Play what you want, whatever feels good.
Oh yeah, especially Lost Ark. Like, let me give you the advice if you're a new Lost Ark player. Like, a lot of people are going after tier lists and making their decisions after tier lists. That's fine. If you need a guidance somewhere, somehow, and you really just need some numbers to validate what you are going for, sure, again, play as you like. But this is a warning. As somebody who has seen Lost Ark growing in the last few years, they are patching classes sometimes on a weekly to monthly basis, if they have to. They are very quick to strike down classes. Like one of the assassin classes, was it the Deathblade? I think it was the Deathblade, which was, when it came out, was absolutely abysmal. Like, didn't do enough damage, was squishy as hell, and was trash tier, right? And then just like 1 to 2 months later, it was like the top double S class everybody wanted to play, and for that I think it was the other assassin's class, the what is it called, the Shadow Hunter, what is it called in English? I have to get used to that.
That might be there is a Shadow Hunter, so yeah.
The Demon Hunt, the demon one.
Demon Hunter is the Shadow Hunter. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, the Shadow Hunter. And the Shadow Hunter was so nerfed that it's not trash tier, but it's now considered like one of the lower tiers a bit. Like, again, don't think too much about it. Those tier lists change at least on a monthly basis, and you don't have the space nor the time to really level those classes to always like play the S rank or A rank classes. Just play the class you enjoy, and more importantly, when you play PvE and PvP, know the mechanics, know what's coming for you, and then you're good. Yeah. And for people who are wondering, man, he's playing this game for years? Like, why doesn't he know the names? Yeah, the problem is that all the other regions are using the South Korean English names. So in South Korea, the classes released with English names. Like, they had English names to themselves. Like the Hawkeye, right? Or the Gun Lancer is called Warlord. That's the official name, Warlord. And then, for whatever weird reason, Amazon was going there and was like, yeah, this is not the Warlord anymore. This is the Gun Lancer or the Scrapper.
I really don't understand why they had to rename everything.
Yeah, the Scrapper was the Infighter. That was the actual name, the Infighter. I was like, well, why did you did you change that? Here's the thing for like the Hawkeye. I might still get it because maybe they were afraid of some Marvel copyright issues or something like that. Who knows? But beyond that, I don't know. But I have to get used to it. I have used the Korean/English names for 2 years, and now I have to get used to the official English names. It's a bit weird. But I have an ultimate question for you. And some people might say this is a very bad question to ask for the very first episode of a new podcast. We might actually not talk to each other anymore after this, because we will completely disagree and hate each other. But do you think that Lost Ark is paid to win?
So, and I actually have talked to my chat about this before. It 100% depends on how you look at it. Is it pay to win in the aspect that I can go in and buy the gear to blow away anyone I want? No, absolutely is not. Is it pay to win in the aspect of convenience and fast forwarding through progression? Yes, absolutely is. Because that's really what it is. Like, you look at buying your mounts, for example. You want to buy a mount. You look at the standard mount you're given, which is the gray horse, which, by the way, you can get these epic mounts for free. Just do your guild stuff, folks, by the way. All you got to do is, you have the regular mount. It has a regular jump. Doesn't really dash real far. But then you buy an epic mount, and you get little emotes for it, the little cute things and all that fun stuff. And then it has this really big dash, which is beneficial, right? Again, it's minor. It's not something that is crazy big, but it's a benefit, right? You look at the ship skins, for example, same concept. Like you could buy a ship skin, it's gonna auto spam your button for you to do your fast
Fast sailing. Yeah, fast
fast
sailing.
sale, yeah. Versus you hitting it yourself, and it will auto gather if it's going over top of stuff. But again, you're not getting anything that's like giving you, okay, I now have infinite whatever, and I can go into this island because of it. Like you can't get there unless you pay for it, type thing. You know what I mean? There, like there's not that type of aspect. But again, there no matter which way you look at it, you can look at it from any perspective. So you're not. I'm never going to argue on this because in everyone's eye, it's different. For me, the pay to win aspect is you're paying for progression. You're paying for the faster mining or more materials to get your honing done. You're paying for more slots to have stuff in your inventory. You know what I mean? Like that's the paying aspect. You're not paying for the wind blessed theory fury thunder whatever. I'm out of WoW. You're not paying for something like that can just go pwn people.
Well, I mean, you can buy the stones and stuff you can upgrade your equipment with, right?
Correct, and that's the progression aspect that I
Exactly.
talk about, because you can get all that normally.
But there is like a few caveats to that as well. Like you first need the equipment to upgrade it, and given with tier 1, it's super easy to get said equipment, right? Everyone is getting it. But the moment we are talking about, let's say, the tier 3 legendary equipments, not everyone will get that. So when you're basically reaching the point where you can actually get said equipment, you are already that good at the game, and you probably already farm that much in the game that you will not use the item shop. And the other way around, if you think about using the item shop, you probably are not that in depth into the game anyways, and that good at the game anyways, to actually achieve like the last legendary raid items, which you can then stand in the city and show off to other people, right? Mm-hmm. Like you still have to unlock. I mean, I see it already when you were doing like the 4-man Abyss dungeon. Have you already done the Abyss dungeons?
Oh, I love them. Absolutely love them.
Yeah.
You can't pay to win that, folks. I'm sorry.
I mean, you can if your item level is high enough. Like I have actually done the first yesterday. Yeah. I have done the first Abyss dungeon with item level 560, like the first two.
Like if you're on, we'll say if you're on par, like if you're at 320 where you're supposed to be for 320 Abyss for the first one,
yeah,
you're not getting past that with buying your way through it. You know what I mean? You got to get your mechanics down. You gotta know what's going on with those fights.
I mean, you can, even with high-end equipment, you can still get one shot by those equipment, or by those like mechanics, or the necromancer, where you have to get like the right bubbles. Like we had a completely new group yesterday with us who have never done this, and the first 3 tries they got it wrong because they didn't fully grasp the concept. Then they got it, but I can just see, if you don't understand the mechanics, you would just wipe the whole time. And no equipment in the world will save you from that. Like
exactly.
If you were just this blind dude who was standing in the fire all the time, then even the equipment will not save you from that. So yeah. Like I was thinking really hard about, is it pay to win? Yeah. I guess that Lost Ark is pay to win, depending on how you think about it. And as you said, I will also not argue about it. When somebody tells me, I do not play Lost Ark because I have looked into the item shop and all the thing I have been seeing there, this is going completely against what I want to support. I understand that. I will not argue that. I will say, yeah, you're right. For me, doesn't matter. So, yeah, interesting. Have you bought anything out of the shop? Like, no matter what?
So I've dabbled a little bit because I wanted, like I said, I wanted to give a fair understanding of what my understanding was of the shop and how the benefits were, right? So, when we think about what I've gotten, I've gotten the aura. I've explained the aura to people. Personally, if you're gonna pay anything, that's the biggest benefit for the game. I've gotten a ship skin, I've gotten mounts, I've gotten pets, I've gotten
Oh
a
my
few
gosh.
inventory increasements. I mean, you're talking to someone that bought in the platinum edition and got the Vanquisher. Like I've put some, like, I knew I was going to spend some money in this game, and I'm sitting, like, even right now I look at it. Let me pull up my store. I'm
Folks,
sitting at, I think,
folks, we found the whale.
5,200.
We found the whale.
Just a little bit. I'm sitting at 5,200 royal crystals and 4,600 regular crystals.
Damn.
Right, and I'm not spending them like crazy. That's the crazy thing. Like, I had I did buy a few skins, but I'm not going in and buying like the guardian stones or the crystals, like, the stuff that you can grind for. I'm just grinding it. I've bought, like, I wanted the cute pinata. I wanted the auto spamming space bar so I could go auto sailing or just walk away for a bit and just get to my destination. Like, that's how I'm looking at the pay to win aspect. It's all about the convenience or the fun of it.
Yeah.
Even some of the skins are actually really cool looking. Like, I really enjoy some of the skins. I'm more than happy. Like, you're talking to, like, I'm a whale when it comes to certain games. I've spent more than $4,000 on Smite, on skins.
Here's the thing.
I'm more than happy to do it.
Speaking of Smite, I just wanted to give a huge shout out to Hi-Res Studios, who gave me a developer account back in the alpha, and it basically gets all the stuff always for free. Thank you very much for that. I love you.
Yeah, so you can just give that to your good old friend Beaver that plays Smite still constantly, and
No.
we'll call it even. But
No.
yeah, I mean, overall, like that's how I feel. Like I support based upon that. And if like the developers are willing to put in the time and the effort into these skins, into all this other stuff, when it is a free to play game, and, like, again, I look at the amount of content this has, I'm more than happy to pay for a skin here and there. I keep looking for new mounts and skins. I'm like, come on, you guys gonna give us, like, something different? Like, I know there's more than this. Like, give me something.
Where's also the stuff they had in the beta? It's like, wait, what? They gave us, like, different things in the beta, and now that is also gone. The one thing I want to mention about the item shop, which I'm not happy with, or it's two things. Two things I actually hate about the item shop. And personal opinion, by the way. First, like, you got the pinata mount, right? I was actually this close to get the pinata mount too. But man, $17 for one mount.
It's expensive. It was. And to be real, like, and I look at it this way, like, would I have honestly got that if I didn't have the crystals from the platinum edition? Because that's the thing, like, I have all these crystals and everything because I got the big editions, because I knew I was going to utilize, like, if you literally priced everything that those things came out with, you were getting one heck of a deal.
Yes.
Like, it's just how it came out to be.
There is this, I don't know if you have this when you reach level 50 pack.
Yep.
This is such a good deal. Like, it's crazy. You pay, what is it, like $11?
$11 for, and like $50 of gems.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And this brings us to the second thing, which I absolutely hate. And this is something a lot of developers and publishers are doing. And whoever is doing it, screw you. Like, here's the $11 thing, right? The package we just talked about. Buy it for $11. Oh, what do you mean you cannot do that? Oh, we only offer you the $10 and $20 pack? Oh, well, then you have to buy the $20 pack. Like, this, I hate that so much. Like, this is just a psychological bullshit thing to pull. Like, you know exactly what you were doing here. And they have multiple of those packs where you are basically like the Chrysaline Aura, right? Mm-hmm. Where they were like, yeah, this only costs 450 crystals. Oh, we don't even offer something like that. Oh, you have to go for the 1,000 crystals. That's
Yep.
so unfortunate that that happens. And it's like, no, you pull that on purpose, and that's ass. Don't do
And
that.
they do this too because it's harder to understand the value
Yeah.
of the things. Like, and honestly, like, and this is how I am with Smite, and it's going to be the same way here. Will I get royal crystals? Most likely. But here's what's going to happen. I'll most likely buy in bulk when they go on sale, because they'll go on sale. Almost
Yeah.
every free to play game will always have some sale at least once or twice a year, where they'll be like, oh, here's 30% off our highest tier pack. And at that point, I'll be like, fuck yeah, because that's the best time, in my opinion, especially because you're breaking down these currencies even more and more and more. Why not? If you save as much as possible, then as a consumer, you're getting the most out of it at that point, especially with the way that they break them down and you start losing money. Because like you look at like buying some of these packs, they give you quote unquote bonuses. Like instead of doing the 200 crystals, no, buy the 2,000 crystals. And let me tell you something, instead of paying this, you're going to pay this, right? It's all a way to just, for like, someone that does have a whale mentality, because like I said, I'm more than willing to spend the money, but I'm smart about it. I pay attention to what they're doing. They're literally trying to get people to not understand how much they're pushing in, and like, oh, I can save this much money if I go a little bit higher, just to keep. They will squeeze what they can. That's exactly what they're doing. Like everyone's like, this level 50 pack, I can't believe they've done it. I'm like, guys, this is their way of testing the waters. They want you to be like, this is a great deal. I love these crystals. I want more. Oh, it's going to be this much. Oh, well, okay. I guess I can do it one more time.
Yeah.
And that's all it takes. That's all it takes.
It's a very psychological aspect. They're, in my opinion, abusing. And it's like, I don't like that. Like, there's the only two things where I'm like, come on, folks. Like, I would be honest, if the prices of some of the items would be a little bit lower in the shop and they wouldn't try to pull this psychological bullshit, I would have bought quite a significant amount of things from the shop. Totally. I would have done that. But I just got the ship with the free crystals we got from the game and from the login bonus, because that ship is pretty awesome.
Right? Not having to spam that button. That's what I said. It's all about that convenience, right?
Yeah. It's like you can just go AFK, right? And then you are like, okay, I take 5 minutes to the point and you also speed me up. Awesome. Let's do that. Like yeah. So that was basically the first 1.5 week of Lost Ark. And it seems like everyone who can play, that is a very important point, has fun with the game. Like, it seems like people have really fun with the game, issues aside with the server, which I really hope they're gonna fix. I hope they can fix it. I think that's another important aspect. But so what is, as a last thing to slowly wrap it up, what is your plan for this week? What do you have planned in game? Any plans?
So we're caught up on the story to the point where I have to hit item level 600. So I'm gonna work on grinding, but I think I got to the point where it's finally time to get my third character in and rotated in. Dailies and weeklies I've got rotated to the point where I have them done even before the weekend. Like started on Thursday, I've already had them done on yesterday. So like I can still do the dailies for reps, but I don't have to if I don't need to, type thing. So yeah, I think once you get to a point when you understand your rotation and how you're doing it, you feel like you take on more. And that's the thing. Don't feel like you have to do it. Like everyone's like, oh, I got my third character, I've done that. I'm like, nah, I'm still waiting. I don't feel like I can take on that third character with adding more stuff from there yet. So I think that's my challenge.
Yeah, I'm running with one character, just because again I take time. It's not a vision, not at all. Like everyone,
Mm-hmm.
like if I would tell people I'm also making quite successful guides on YouTube for Lost Ark, and people would be like, "Wait, and you are just running one character? Lol." Unsubscribed. But it's really this. I have my time, and I know also that item level 600 is like considered the wall. Like it's for whatever reason, it's such a drag. I I don't know the reason for it. I think somebody has explained it once, but it is one of the toughest item levels to get to reach that 600. But when you got it, afterwards it's really smooth sailing.
Well, it's soul crushing right now when you're honing and you're at 80%, and it's like fail.
Don't mention this here in this podcast ever. We are not talking about honing. We are not talking about our stones, right? To facet them. Like faceting is just
I actually got pretty lucky on one. I was shocked.
I'm doing it perfectly right? Like there are things in the game I'm doing right and maximum efficiency on how to do something, and faceting a stone is one of those things. And when you have 4 times 75% chance and it doesn't happen, you want to murder someone.
I had the one I worked on the other day was at 25%, and I was hitting the bad area, and it hit 4 times. I was like, frick! I was like, you're at 25%. What the hell?
It's bad sometimes. Like I sometimes have the feeling that the percentage numbers in Lost Ark mean absolutely nothing. They mean nothing. They're just there to look pretty, to give you a feeling of security. And in reality, it's really just somebody sitting behind the scenes rolling a dice and is like, well, we'll see what happens. It's like, oh, it's horror. But yeah, my plan, well, Abyss Raids, I want to finish up my legendary set. I want to finish that up. I've already 2 parts together. Now I have to get the rest. I will try to do that this week. And probably a lot of PvP. Yeah, I'm really enjoying my striker.
I have yet to start PvP. I did go to some islands with PvP, but I have yet to actually go into the Proving Grounds.
Very different, right? Islands are actually the PvP, for everyone who doesn't know. Island PvP is not synchronized or equalized. Like everyone is going in.
Blowing the fudge up.
Yeah, it's not really that fun, and I don't understand why they don't do it, because you are still going into a dungeon system, right? There is an instant system at that point on the island. So why not, when people are entering the island, activate their PvP skills, activate their PvP gear, and then let them have fun? Like why do you go in with PvE numbers? I don't understand that, right? So yeah, but arena PvP is equalized. What is a bit unfortunate is, so in the other versions of the game, when you do PvP, or you normally would, you would get actually resources for leveling up your character, right? For the item upgrades. Like you would get the stones and stuff you need by just doing PvP. They have removed that in the Western version. I was like, oh. So right now PvP is just for fun, which is a bit
It's interesting.
unfortunate. I think a buddy of mine said it's probably because people would feel obliged to do that as well, and there are already so many things in the game people want to do to, like,
I mean, personally, like I see it like I'd be the first one to be like, oh fuck, now I have to do it.
yeah,
But at
exactly.
the same time, like I see it from your point of view. It's like, you're doing this, why not be rewarded for it as well?
Yeah, like even a silver reward or something would have been nice. Like you literally get nothing out of it. Nothing.
Wow.
Zero. And there will be a ranked season at some point. We don't know when. And then you get like all the things like mounts and auras, equipment, and all that cool stuff. But till then, right now, PvP is just to get good. Which, don't get me wrong, great. But it's like, why did you remove like the stuff I could utilize for PvE a little bit? Like, that's unfortunate. We will see. We will see. I'm pretty sure there is something coming. But yeah, I would say for this week, we are wrapping it up. If you don't have something to add.
Oh no, I'm all set.
And yeah, folks, we will be back next week on Sunday. This time for real at 4 p.m. ET. We had a little bit of technical difficulties. And yeah, we will be back with another Founders Ark episode. And thank you so much for watching. But before we leave, Beaver, tell the people where they can actually find you.
You guys can find me pretty much the same place you can find Mole most of the time, except YouTube. You'll find me over on trovo.live/BVR or on facebook.gg/BVR.
All right. And social media?
Oh, yeah, that place. Yeah, the Twitters with the bird. Yeah, that'd be BVR Live. Yeah, because unfortunately they don't like 3-character names or won't let me get a dead account that I own technically. So.
Aww. And yeah, folks, you can find me if you have not done it and you enjoyed this video. Please like it. I would gladly appreciate it. And if you're also new to the channel, you want to see more Lost Ark content, we have already a huge amount of Lost Ark guides on the channels and video. I would appreciate if you might subscribe. And if you ever want to catch me live, you can do so from Monday to Friday, starting at 9 a.m. ET, which is 2 p.m. UK time and 3 p.m. Central European time, over at trovo.live/ChaosMole. And social media is just twitter.com/ChaosMole. FX, because, spam accounts steal my name. Cool. And yeah, for all the people who have watched, for all the live viewers, thank you so much. We will be back next week. And for all the people who watched, the video, we will also be back next week. So see you then. Have a good one. Bye bye.